your ears.
So what is sickle cell anemia? So sickle cell anemia is an inherited form of anemia, a condition in which there aren't enough healthy red blood cells to carry adequate oxygen throughout your body. So normally your red blood cells are flexible and round, moving easily through your blood vessels. In sickle cell anemia, the red blood cell becomes rigid and sticky and are shaped like sickles or crescent moons. These irregularly shaped cells can get stuck in vessels, which can slow or block blood flow and oxygen to parts of your body. So, the inheritance pattern of sickle cell anemia, the genes involved in sickle cell disease control the production of a protein in red blood cells called hemoglobin. So most people have two normal genes that are inherited from their parents. Some people carry one normal gene and one gene for sickle hemoglobin. This is called sickle cell trait. People with sickle cell trait do not develop sickle cell disease as they grow older. People who inherit two genes for sickle hemoglobin, one from each of their parents, have sickle cell disease. With a few exceptions, a child can inherit sickle cell disease only if both parents have one gene for sickle cell hemoglobin. So 1 in 4 children has sickle cell anemia. So the symptoms are episodes of pain, painful swelling of hands and feet, frequent infections, delayed growth, vision problems, and more. So in order to manage sickle cell anemia, bone marrow transplant, also known as stem cell transplant, offers the only potential cure for sickle cell anemia. Finding a donor is very difficult, and the procedure has serious risks associated with it, including death. As a result, treatment for sickle cell disease is usually aimed at avoiding crisis, relieving symptoms, and preventing complications. For example, antibiotics, pain-relieving medications, and hydroxyurea. And sickle cell anemia has a link with malaria. So sickle cell trait confers a high degree of resistance to severe and complicated malaria, yet the precise mechanism remains unknown. Individuals carrying just one copy of sickle cell mutation trait do not develop sickle cell anemia and lead normal life. However, it was found these same individuals were in fact highly protected against malaria, thus explaining the high prevalence of this mutation in geographical areas where malaria is endemic, for example in the Central Africa.
This was a brief introduction of sickle cell anemia at the IGCSE level. Before I get into the depth, we need to know this process. It's a protein synthesis. Protein is made by DNA and messenger RNA. And if you know this nucleotide chains, T links with A and G links with T. And if there's A in DNA, it turns out as a U in mRNA. Bear this in mind. Now I'm going to talk about how variation of genes in hemoglobin alters the shape of the shape. Each hemoglobin consists of many tetramer. Tetramer meaning 4 proteins, and these 4 proteins have two alpha globin chains and 2 beta globin chains, and mostly variation of alpha globin chains does not affect hemoglobin. However, the variation of beta globin cell affects this hemoglobin. And normally beta globin cell consists of phenylphenol 88 or something 88, and the other beta globin cell can be glutamic acid. However, the variation of the gene in this beta globin chain, this sickle cell anemia infection causes this third in the 6th codon of chromosome 11 to change from T to A, resulting into GUG rather than GAG. And since GAG produces glutamic acid, which is hydrochloric. GUG produces valence 6, which is hydrophobic, and this hydrophobic characteristic is very important later on because it will stick with other. And as this hydrophobic characteristic continues, this makes the hemoglobin in a T state. T state meaning tense state, which also can be shown as deoxyhemoglobin, meaning there is lack of oxygen molecules. And since there are no oxygen and they're hydrophobic, they can link together and forming this shape rather than each tetramer. And because they're linked together, this clumped and fibrous chain will cause into sickle-shaped red blood cell. And to end our presentation, I would like to finish up with a short summary video.
Sickle cell anemia is a genetic disease that affects hemoglobin, the oxygen transport molecule in the blood. The disease gets its name from the shape of the red blood cells under certain conditions. Some red blood cells become sickle-shaped, and these elongated cells get stuck in small blood vessels so that parts of the body don't get the oxygen they need. Sickle cell anemia is caused by a single code letter change in the DNA. This in turn alters one of the amino acids in the hemoglobin protein. Valine sits in the position where glutamic acid should be. The valine makes the hemoglobin molecules stick together, forming long fibers that distort the shape of the red blood cells, and this brings on an attack.
Thank you.